Hey, what's up, guys? Hope everybody's doing well and having a great day. Welcome back to another live stream. Anybody noticing the Schumann resonance? The Schumann resonance has been off the charts here recently. Literally been up above 40, 50, and depending on where you go, some people say up in the 100 hertz range. I know it's been very active this past week, and it's active again today. Speaking of active, I have a ton of things to share with you guys in this video. What's up? Hoppy Sin. Hoppy Sin is the first one in the chat to say good to see everybody here. Hopefully you got notified. That always helps. In this video, I've got multiple updates to share with you guys. Wild looking photo over here at the homepage of the website. What's up, Berlinda, Chris, Mark, Joel? What's going on, guys? If you guys want to become Star Family members, I've had several people ask. That's why I always put the link at the top of the chat. So if you want to join, the link's at the top of the chat. I heard there was a lot of action going on last night during the overnight hours. We're going to talk about that here in just a moment. Let everybody get on board here, though, before we get started. I've got, like I said, multiple updates to share with you guys. Some more incidents on a golf course. Are you serious right now? I've got some very compelling evidence coming up in this video because we've been talking about this for several months now, and it's the flashing light thing. You guys that were on the fence, bear with me. This is a very subtle video. It's not super bright. It is an example, in my humble opinion, that if you're either on the fence, it's going to take you over to the side where, okay, there's definitely something going on. I have an incredible example a young lady sent in that was in one of these huge box stores that you've all heard of, and all of a sudden there was this strange humming noise in the store. And during that strange humming noise, the light started flickering, and people couldn't even check out at the self-checkout. She'd never seen anything like it. Unbelievable footage coming out of hey, moderator, out of Pennsylvania. We're going to take a look at that here in just a moment. I've got UV readings today, brand new readings out of Wichita, Kansas. Have a new team UV member, Wes, out of Wichita, Kansas. Thank you, Wes, for the reading. We're going to share that today. What else have we got going on? Crazy skies. Can't get enough of these crazy skies. By request, by the way, I've had people send me emails saying they look forward to the sky phenomena videos. So I've got one teed up today, a brand new sky phenomena video. Graham, what's up, Graham? Just reading about the new dawn in China. It's massive, really. Thank you, Graham. Appreciate that. What's up, PayPal? Lex G, Channel Snipes, just saying hi to a few of you guys. It gets moving pretty fast over here, and I don't see all of the comments. I try when I'm not focused over here on the 30 tabs that I have open. Got an Atlas update for those of you that haven't seen the most recent update. What's on the screen right now was an update that we did back in the first week of August. We've got a brand new update now right at the end of the second week of August, and you're looking at some examples of comets that have visited us in the recent past in the inner solar system, and that's what comets actually look like. This right here is one of the first examples, first photographs of the interstellar traveler that we talk about all the time. Can't get enough of this, man. I mean, this is pretty wild. We don't have visitors from another star enter the solar system on a daily basis. This is super rare. But if it is a comet, it should look something like that. Maybe not quite that dramatic right now, but it should have a tail, and it doesn't. We're going to take a look at that. Those of you that haven't seen it, you'll be able to see it today. This is the path that it's taking. Let me pause this real quick. I just put together a real quick LP for you guys to have something to look at when I'm talking. But the red line is the red lines are the ecliptic plane. Those are the path that the planets take around the sun. The yellow line is the path of the interstellar traveler. And see how it's traveling right across the center of the solar system like a plane would fly? It's coming in horizontally. Pretty wild stuff. Again, not things that you necessarily see every day. What else we got here? Oh yeah, I wanted to touch base on this here real quick. Remember, I think it was earlier in the week. Yeah, today's Sunday, so it would have been earlier in the week. We were talking about small aircraft. There have been an uptick this year in 2025 of small airplanes having technical issues and some issues. The planes didn't make it to the ground safely. This one did, however. It landed on a golf course in Vermont. There was another incident involving an airplane and a golf course, this time up in Joliet, Illinois. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, guys. How often, I can't remember ever in my entire life, and even in the age of the internet, we're in the information age. Information flows freely all day long. If you want to know something, you have a handheld device that'll pretty much tell you anything. I don't recall ever seeing this. In 1 week, 2 airplanes making an emergency landing on golf courses? And these are just the ones that we know of. What in the world? Here's the articles right here. Plane lands in Vermont golf course, no one injured. That's the main thing. Nobody got hurt. Here's the second one. The one in Vermont occurred on August the 10th, by the way. This one here up in Joliet, Illinois, occurred on the 14th. So these were 4 days apart, and you can see the airplane right there landed out on the golf course. And I don't know if that's the pilot. Looks like the pilot was fine. There were no injuries. They said a single-engine Piper P-818 Super Cub aircraft had an apparent malfunction before landing in a grassy area on the back 9 up in Joliet. Again, this has been going on since the beginning of the year. It started off, if I remember right, up in Philadelphia. You guys remember the incident up in Philadelphia? Wow, that was unbelievable. I wanted to touch base real quick on the banner you guys saw. This was sent in by a viewer just a couple of days ago. They noticed this on their obviously weather radar. This thing, I measured it on Google Earth. It's approximately, give or take a couple of miles, 365 miles wide. And it occupies 6 countries. So this isn't your average Doppler sweep. We've all seen the Doppler sweeps on Doppler radar. They'll create sometimes if conditions are just right. And I've noticed the Doppler radar sweeps sometimes will show up depending on the sun angle and how much moisture there's in the atmosphere. This is like a Doppler sweep times 50. I mean, this thing is huge. What was it doing? Centered right above Belgrade. And it went over into Romania, Hungary, of course, Serbia, Bulgaria, covered 6 countries. Unbelievable. I wanted to share that with you guys because I'd never seen one this big. This thing was absolutely titanic. It was huge, was there just for a brief period of time, then disappeared. But how did it get there? Where did it come from? And where did it go? And what did it do? You know, that wasn't an average Doppler sweep by no means at all. Wow, never seen one quite that big. Guys, I have an update. I know we've been talking about, this storm here. It's a nothing burger. There's really not much to it. It should stay off the coast. Well, it will stay off the coast. The most recent forecasts that I've seen keep it well off the coast and then swinging way out into the North Atlantic, heading over towards our friend Graham in Scotland. Some of the models are showing it coming close to the Outer Banks of North Carolina. It just depends. It's been moving back and forth the whole time. I guess it got up to a Category 1 last night. Some of the buoys out in the Puerto Rico area were showing wind gusts of 75 mile an hour. Ventisky was showing wind gusts of 105. So that puts it in this was last night at 11:30 local time. So that puts it in Cat 1, Cat 2 range, I guess. I don't know. It wasn't a great big one. But the one that we've been following, the new one right here, it's changed yet again. And those of you that live in the Gulf, this thing has moved now since yesterday and today, nearly 500 miles. Now it's showing a landfall somewhere over by Mobile, Alabama. Check this out. It was showing a landfall in the Houston, Texas area. So this more than likely will change again. See it going right up into the southern tip of Mississippi. I mean, just right in the southern tip of Mississippi. That would be on the 28th at around 2 p.m., 11 a.m. possibly. Slow mover. So hopefully this forecast will change, but that's practically a stall right there. What I'm seeing right there between 5 a.m. on the 28th, 11 a.m., 2 p.m., Oh my goodness, that's stalled. Hopefully this does not happen. We want this one to change. Definitely want it to change. And it more than likely will. Today's the 17th. This is the 28th. So it's a 10-day forecast. You know how it goes, guys. 10-day forecast can and do change. But yeah, I had people ask me yesterday about the storm out in the Atlantic. That's not troublesome this is not going to make landfall, you know. And as I mentioned earlier, you know, these storms that get anywhere close to the sands of the United States, I'm going to let you guys know. I'm going to be following these things very, very closely. I heard this thing was a Category 5. Is that correct? I don't know. I wasn't following it that close because from what I understand, it was just a Category 1. I didn't think it was that big of a deal, but maybe it was. I don't know. Here's where it was last night. No, that was the 18th. So the 17th is today, right? So I can't even go back to the 16th. Yeah, I can. I have a screen grab right here. Here's where it was last night. Again, this is at 11 p.m. local time, just off the coast of Puerto Rico. It was showing wind gusts of 105. And I think those are quite generous because I found some buoys over here in the area off the coast of Puerto Rico. And buoys you guys know, we follow buoys all the time with, you know, big earthquakes and things like that. This is where the storm was last night. Let me show you guys. I did an overlay. Here's the storm last night. Oh, wow, that says Category 5, really? Okay, well, apparently when it was a Category 5, it was right on top of this buoy right here. And that buoy was showing wind gusts of, and again, these are gusts, not sustained. Right there was where the storm apparently became a Category 5. I don't know. I wasn't there. I wasn't out there with my anemometer and my surfboard taking measurements. We have to rely on the data that we receive from these apps. And the data the apps that I've used for many, many years showed it as a Cat 1 or 2. And that buoy, which I use buoys all the time during hurricanes. And buoys are a great source of information with regard to the waves, you know. That's the big concern with a large storm is the wave height, especially if they're getting close to land. This one wasn't close to land, so I wasn't really paying that close attention to it. But I did go to the buoy and look at the strong wind gusts in the vicinity of the storm at 11:50 p.m. when it was at its peak strength last night, and it's showing 66 gusts or 66 mile an hour. I'm sorry, not mile an hour, 66 knots with regard to wind gusts. So 66 knots isn't necessarily, you know, that strong. I think it's right around 75 mile an hour. So that would be a wind gust of 75 mile an hour. You can see it right there for yourself. Let me get my handy dandy zoomer right there. There we go. Here's the buoy, and you can see for yourself. 66 mile an hour, and that would be a wind gust. The WSPD is wind speed. That's in knots, and you can see it was around 46. That's in the 60 mile an hour range. So that, once again, was when the storm was right on top of this buoy right here, just off the coast of Puerto Rico. So that's why I wasn't watching the storm that close, guys. Wasn't nothing to see. I don't know. Maybe there was. Maybe I missed the show. Darn it. Missed the show. But anyway, it shouldn't make landfall. We're going to be following the storm that's behind it. That's the one that we're watching much closer. And this one here, they're showing it making a landfall as possibly a Category 2. But again, that's subject to change. We'll have to wait and see. I heard there was an earthquake in Australia, Brisbane, Australia, just less than 24 hours ago, right? And that's the same location that we saw the unique skies down in Brisbane. Are you serious right now? Yeah. Hold on here. My Aaron also killed 8 people in Cape Verde already, Miss Namas. Thank you. Cape Verde. Like I said, I thank you for the report. I haven't been following it that closely. We don't want to see that. No, we don't want to see that at all. But back to the 5.6 magnitude earthquake in Queensland, felt in Brisbane. I read this article, and people said that the ground shook for nearly 30 seconds in some places. In fact, right there, this one reported their house shaking 15 to 20 seconds. Other people that were closer to the epicenter said that their house shook for about 30 seconds. I heard it was downgraded from a 5.6 to a 4.9. So either way, you know, that's a relative That's a significant earthquake for that part of the world. They're not known for their earthquakes in Brisbane, Australia. No, not by a long shot. Here's something else I've got for you guys. Hang on just a second. Hey, what's up, Alexis Omnis, Star family member in the house? How's everybody doing today? Good, I hope. Wildfires, as you guys know, they're still continuing. We've got all kinds of wildfires out here in the western United States, and our friends up in Canada. I think between the two of us, there's over 800 different wildfires currently underway right now as I do this video. Absolutely unbelievable. Oh, I wanted to share this photo real quick. Speaking of hurricanes, back in 2004, I stared Hurricane Charlie right in the eye. It came right at me. And this is what it looked like when I saw it. I couldn't believe this photo that was sent in by Allie Milligan out of Burwell, Nebraska. Check this out. This is exactly what, but Hurricane Charlie it was a little bit taller. But the top of the hurricane, and I was well inland, looked just like that. It was that emerald green color. And this was above Nebraska just a few days ago as storms rolled through Nebraska. I saw that familiar emerald green. That's something you just don't forget. No joke. That's something you do not forget. Again, I was in the middle of Hurricane Charlie back in 2004. Got some UV readings for those of you that like to follow the UV. Here we go. We have a new team member, ground level ultraviolet radiation, our friend Wes out of Wichita, Kansas. Here we go. Wes had a reading today of 12.0. That would be considered extreme UV anywhere in the world. 12.0 is extreme UV. When you get below 11, that's considered high, but anything above 11 is considered extreme. Darren up in Abbotsford, British Columbia at the 50-degree north latitude. You can see his was a 1.64 for obvious reasons. He took the reading in the rain, and it was very cloudy, so the rain and clouds do block the ultraviolet radiation, and so does wildfire smoke. Going from Abbotsford, British Columbia to right out here in Phoenix, Arizona, I took this reading, what time is it, 3:30? I took it at high noon, 3.5 hours ago. 11.73, the instrument on the right. Could need calibrated, but I measure it anyway. The instrument on the right measures UVC. We should measure 0 at ground level. The instrument on the left is total UVAB. We're supposed to get that down at ground level. But even if that were something, that's trace amounts, so that wouldn't be much at all. It's kind of always been that way. Even calibrated. Here's what the sky looked like today at high noon out here in the Phoenix, Arizona area. So no clouds here, and the UV was in acceptable parameters. 11.73, that's normal for Arizona in midsummer, like we're at right now. But 12.0 in Wichita, Kansas, that's actually a little bit high. Their UV technically should be lower than ours out here in Arizona, simply because we're a little bit lower in the latitudes. But it is what it is. He measured a 12.0 today. That's our new team member, Wes from Wichita, Kansas. Thank you, Wes. Really appreciate that. Okay, guys, here we go. I've got a couple more things, good things to share with you guys. Those of you that have been on the fence, and I know some of you are like, man, I don't like these flashing light things. Guys, the reason I share these with you is because there is something to this, okay? If this was just some random light bulb that was not working properly, I wouldn't share it with you guys. You guys deserve better than that, right? There's something to this. And if you didn't think so, I think this will be a very compelling video right here that'll probably lean you towards, yes, there is something to it. Okay, let me back it up just a little bit. Listen to the hum. There's the email working. You're going to hear a hum in this video. This video was sent in by Sue out of Clarion, Pennsylvania. Check it out. Hear the hum? People were just standing there because the registers weren't working. Did you hear that humming noise? Guys, I'm telling you, there's something going on. The whole store, and you know where this is at. This is one of the, you've all heard of it. It's a giant box store. We've all been to it. The lights on the ceiling were all flickering, and you can see the people over here standing They weren't even able to check out. The self-checkouts weren't working either. And those aren't necessarily bulbs, but they function by light. You know those laser scanners that you use to scan when you scan an item at the self-checkout, it's got the little code on it. It works by a laser scanner. They weren't working. And you can hear a hum. Hear it? Guys, I will say of the now 2,300. I'm almost at 2,300. If I get 2 more videos of flashing lights, I'll be at 2,300 examples. That one right there was the most compelling I've seen so far. There was something going on there. I don't know if it was dirty electricity. I have a very strong feeling that it was. It had contaminated a section of lights, and it contaminated the checkouts there to where these people couldn't even finish their transactions. And the people that worked there didn't know what to do. And the young lady filming the video, she said, "This is crazy." She had never seen anything like it. So guys, there's something to this. Trust me, I wouldn't be showing this stuff to you guys all the time if I didn't feel that there was. Like right here, for instance. Guys, this was during a power outage. What? This video was sent in by Jared from Nampa, Idaho. Power outage? It doesn't look like there's a power outage going on. Some lights were off and some were on. So again, I mean, that tells you that there had to have been an issue with contaminated electricity. And that is a real thing, by the way. It's called dirty electricity. When electricity is carrying a form of an EMP, and it disrupts the flow of electricity. And that's something that we've been talking about for months. Something is interfering with the flow of electricity. And we've come to the conclusion that more than likely, it's an EMP. This video here was sent in by Jennifer out of Merritt Island, Florida. This was just on the 13th. This is still going on. It's been going on since November of 2024. Prior to November of 2024, I hadn't received one video of a flashing light. Ever. Ever. LED lights have been around since November of 2024. They're not anything new. And it's not just LED lights, guys. It's the fluorescent bulbs that I used to change at my very first job when I was a kid in high school. All the way back then, I changed those bulbs and I never once saw one that was flickering. It was either on or it was off. There was no in between. Nowadays, they're flickering. Why? I mean, come on, like right here. This is over on the east coast of Florida by Cape Canaveral. This was a hotel that this young lady was at. She stepped outside and noticed all these lights flashing rogue and randomly for unknown reasons. And not all the lights, just the lights that were on probably the same circuit. So somehow or another, that circuit picked up some sort of, if I had to guess, I would say an EMP, some sort of frequency that's causing it to malfunction. Like right here. Another example out of Florida. I will say Florida, Tennessee, and Ohio, just me personally, have been the most active places I've seen. Memphis started out there for a while. I mean, absolutely going berserk with the roads and stuff. Lights on both sides of major highways in Memphis, Tennessee. But we also saw the same thing in Florida. This is a parking lot in Tampa, Florida. And it's not just one, you know, I would understand just one. And guys, I've gotten many videos of just one, and I didn't share them because one can be explained away. If one is malfunctioning, it's like, okay, you know, it could be a faulty bulb. I get it, right? Then things happen. But for 10, 12, 20, the whole store, there's something bigger going on. There just simply has to be. Hey, what's up, Graham? Thanks for the super chat. Proton streams and deep space. Dirty electricity. Smart guy. Thank you, Graham. You are a thinker, Mr. Graham. Thank you for your input. Thank you for the super chat. Now, guys, this is a tablet. Honestly, this is the first time I've seen one of these. Sent in by Ike Clarkson. Again, just from the 13th. This is fairly new. I've just had time to put it together to share it with you guys. He'd never seen this happen before on his tablet. For some reason, it was malfunctioning. And we all use these devices. We all use these monitors and devices. I've never seen mine do that. He'd never seen his do that. I've seen regular computer monitors malfunctioning. I've seen TVs. I've seen car lights, truck lights, headlights. I've even got a video of an airplane, a small airplane. A gentleman, I haven't even shared it with you guys yet. It's in a folder over here on this monitor here. A small airplane. Guy zoomed in on it. It was parked. It wasn't even scheduled to take off. It was just sitting there. I don't know if somebody was doing maintenance on it or something like that. And he noticed two lights inside the aircraft, one like in the cockpit area and one in the back that were flickering. And it was a small, I don't know, 12-passenger airplane. I'll share it with you guys. I'll find it and share it with you guys here coming up. But there is something to it, guys, or trust me, I would not be sitting here showing you blinking lights. We've got better things to do with our time. Trust you me. But there's something to it. Exactly what? We're trying to figure that out. Me and my associates, I was on a Zoom call this morning with my friends. I have associates, we think alike, you know what I mean? And we're trying to figure out what's up. Speaking of what's up, here's the really cool photo that I shared with you guys. This reminded me of Hurricane Charlie coming in off the west coast of Florida back in 2004. That is exactly what it looked like, although it was a little bit taller. Green Cove Springs, Florida. Here's a sky phenomena slideshow, guys, by request. Actually, two different people requested these. They love these sky phenomena photos. Devin out of Florida. Florida's been a hot spot for sky phenomena, flashing lights, all kinds of different things. This was just a cool cloud up in the sky above Green Cove, Florida. Example number 3. Check this out. Corey B. looked up and saw this out of Huber Heights, Ohio. Are you serious right now? What is going on here? I mean, wow. We just saw an example of the colorful clouds in the sky. This right here takes it to an entirely new level. You can see the sun back behind the clouds. I mean, that right there's the sun showing up. The clouds acting like a H-alpha solar filter. Wow. That's really cool. I gotta admit, man. Good job. Great video. Thanks for sharing that with us. That is cool as heck. Yeah, very well done. Like I said, Ohio has been a hot spot this year. Ohio, Florida, Tennessee, Sandy and Tony out of Muskoka, Ontario. They're up there dealing with the wildfires again this year. And this is what the sun looked like behind the wildfire smoke right here. The sun looked like it was in pieces. Literally. That's how the photo turned out. I didn't do anything to this photo except put their name on it. That's it. And location, of course. Are you serious? The next one you're going to see, I zoomed in on it. That's what the sun looked like from their location. Here, it looked like a version of what? Pac-Man? Look at that. I didn't do anything to it but put their name on it. That is it. Promise. Unbelievable. You can't make this stuff up. And then this thing here flying through the sky on the left, Tom from New Jersey. On the right, George R. McCaw Jr., also from the East Coast. Not sure exactly where, but that was the flying S thing that we saw in the sky a few nights ago. They say that was a side effect of a rocket re-entry dumping fuel. Toby Painter sent in this photo. He sent in 2 photos of this beam of light that came down during a storm right in the middle of New York City. Here's the second one. It was associated with a lightning strike. Are you serious right now? What a cool photo sent in by Toby Painter. And Toby, Toby sent me a lot of photos here recently. Here's another one by Toby. Bright orange skies. I got all your photos, Toby. Thank you. Really appreciate that. If you guys have photos you'd like to share, you can send those to reports@mrmbb333.com. I'll show you guys where here in just a moment. He took this photo. The sky was full of what looked like, I don't know, maybe some sort of a dust storm or something that went through. And you couldn't help but notice another arrow. We were talking about arrows in the sky yesterday. There's another example of an arrow in the sky amongst those dirty looking clouds. Boy, those were ominous looking, right? Example number 7 going up to North Ogden, Utah. Photo sent in by Toby. Toby had to evacuate his house as a wildfire erupted right behind his house up in North Ogden, Utah. I mean, the wildfire situation out west this year is very intense. There are over 400, from what I understand, 400 wildfires west of the Mississippi River. And that's, I think that includes Alaska though too, which there's several up there as well. But this one here took off and you can see the smoke plume was just billowing very, very high in the sky. And they were taking pictures of their home right there that was I hope their home survived. This was just a couple days ago, but you can see how big that wildfire was, and their home was right there in front of the smoke once again. All they could do stand there and watch. Obviously, they had to get to a safe location because the wildfire it took off so fast. Sapulpa, did I say that right? Yeah, Sapulpa, Oklahoma. Stephanie, ominous looking sky as storms were rolling through the central plains. Once again, been a pretty stormy year. We've had kind of a lull in the activity here the last couple of days, at least here in the lower 48. This is a rainbow taken from an airplane by Brian out of Scotland, where our friend Graham is at over in Scotland. Looked out the window of his airplane. Sometimes when you're looking out the window of an airplane, you can see the full rainbow. And rainbows are a complete circle normally. He saw a part of it. I don't know if he ended up seeing the whole thing, but that's the photo that he shared with me and I shared with you guys. You guys that are sensitive to the Schumann resonance, have you guys noticed the Schumann up, Mia? Mia in Maryland. I know, Mia. Toby had to evacuate his house. Unbelievable. And I do hope his house was safe. Man, that is not good. What's up, Drew? Star family members in the house. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Yeah, the Schumann is hot today, guys. It's been hot all week, really. The Schumann has been active as it can be. And it can be caused by a lot of different things, you know. But there are people that don't need the graph that I share with you guys at least, 3 or 4 times a week. They don't need the graph to know that the Schumann numbers are elevated. And sometimes, it can get up above even or close to 100. The graph only goes, the one I use only goes to 50, and it will max it out sometimes. So Polenta, hey, Polenta. I know I had to send Polenta a text because she hasn't been getting notified. So I sent Polenta a text today. Thanks for joining, Polenta. How's everybody doing today? Ballasts are magnetic, made of iron and copper. Whatever it's doing is doing the ballast. Yeah, I know, New World disorder. I used to change ballast when I was a little kid. They're a little black box about this big, about the size of a pack of saltine crackers. And I would have to change the ballast. Yes, of course. But the lights never were flashing. No, that was back when I was a kid in high school. Had to change the ballast and then the bulbs. I know exactly what a ballast is. I've done the research on it. I've handled them very specifically. I've changed many in my day. And never once did a ballast go bad and the lights in the entire store start flickering. Not once. And I was just a kid and learned that. A teenager. I don't even think I had my license then. I was riding my bicycle to work. Good, Polenta. Yeah, I used to change ballasts all the time, and the 48-inch fluorescent bulbs, that's what lit up the store. So it didn't have anything to do with the ballast back then because we didn't have any lights flickering back then. Like I said, they were either on or off. There was none of this in-between stuff. So this stuff has merit. I guarantee you there's more to it. I guarantee it. We just don't know what it is yet, but there's more to it. There's more to it. I'm telling you, there's more to it. I wouldn't be showing you guys this stuff. And I wouldn't even be talking about it if I didn't think there was. There's something to it. Yep. And I know exactly what a ballast is. I can still see myself as a kid standing there on the ladder wiring them in the light fixture. They fit in the bottom of the light fixture. You got to anchor them in there and then wire them in with the little wire nuts. I mean, like I said, I learned how to do that when I was 14. 14 years old. But that video today, to me, that was very, very compelling. That something was going on. And it's this video right here for those of you that are just joining, this very first one right here. The young lady at the big box store that you've all heard of. Everything, at least in the front end, just basically came to a standstill. Nobody could check out. That guy there went to find somebody to help him. They're just standing here because the self-checkouts wouldn't work, and those work by laser beams underneath there. They didn't work. These folks over here were just standing there like, nobody knew what to do. This was an entirely new experience. I don't see anybody in here looking for a ballast. They're probably standing around going, what's going on here? And they've all changed ballast before. If you work at one of those stores, any type of manager, whatever, they got to know how to change ballast. It's part of the job. Trust me, I've worked with ballast before. It's not a ballast, guys. Come on. You see one example and you're just going to assume that it's a ballast. I've seen almost 2,300 examples. 2,300 5-mile stretches of highway. 5 miles on both sides. And it's a bulb issue? Ay, man. If you say so. Oh my God. Hey, Mayo Monster, what's going on with you? Right. Yeah, I did that. That was my very first job. I started that job when I was a little kid. I was 13 and a half. I just worked there through high school. I worked there mainly for gas money. You guys know how it is. Worked there for gas money. But I worked there every weekend and 1 or 2 evenings during the week during school year. I'd work after school. And then during the summer would take on, maybe an extra day or two. But if especially when I got my license and had a vehicle, I was responsible for my gas money. So I had to get a job and make it happen. So yeah. Graham, the magnetic North Pole has moved its quickest in 2025. That's correct, Graham. And you know what? That's what someone else told me too. I believe in an email. They were talking about with regard to the flashing light phenomena. Hey, Daniel Gorbia, thank you, buddy. That's got something to do with the magnetic shields, and the energy coming in affecting the flashing lights because, there's more technology in today's world. So there's more things that can and will go wrong. Back when I was a teenager in high school, all this technology didn't even exist. So, lighting was different. Everything was different back then, You didn't have smartphones and stuff like that, smart lights. Thank you for was it ever determined where the huge gamma ray burst hit the Earth last week? That's a good question, Daniel. Could this burst be causing... And that's a very good theory. Yes, and yes, both on both occasions. It could be, yeah. I will say this, though. In all fairness, I've been following gamma ray bursts and cosmic ray, the Bartol. I've been following that. That was one of my first studies, was the Bartol neutron monitors. That was one of my very first fields of study back in 2009. And I will say, I saw several large spikes of cosmic rays back in the day, and I don't remember ever seeing flashing lights anywhere. And nobody sent me videos of flashing lights. However, I do agree with you. It is a possibility, but I haven't been able to connect that dot because I have followed cosmic rays for the graphs for 16 years. They were offline there for a while, the Bartol. That's my favorite. You can find them down in Antarctica, graphs, to track neutrinos and things like that. But there have been cosmic ray bursts, but I never connected that dot with a flashing light yet. But we're watching. We are watching, absolutely, because it could. People are leaning towards the magnetic shield weakening and possibly a combination of the Earth's core and creating some sort of weird EMPs that are rogue and random. You never know when or where they're going to show up, They're highly unpredictable. So, because the videos that I get from people, they're shocked. They're not expecting it. And they come from all over the world. I've got videos from southern Australia all the way up to Sweden and Denmark and everywhere in between. Yes, absolutely, Graham. You've seen the reports on my theory. Yes, I have, Graham. I have your report right here on my desktop, buddy. You bet I do. About the heating of the Earth's core. And like Graham was saying, Graham's done a lot of research on the Earth's core. If the Earth's core, believe it or not, were to increase by a half of degree, just a half of a degree, it would change things on the surface of the Earth quite drastically in some cases. A lot of different things, weather patterns and jet streams. It's unbelievable how much a half of a degree can change so much. That was a good piece of research there, Graham. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right, guys. Well, listen, I'm going to hop off here. The big story, what we featured here was this big ring We've seen these before with regard to Doppler radar, but never quite this big. I think this was way more than Doppler radar to occupy 6 countries like that. And this thing was over 360 miles wide. Wow, that is absolutely massive. Listen, guys, if you have any photos or videos you'd like to share, you can send those to reports at MrMBB333.com. I'll show you guys exactly where over here at the homepage of the website, which is MrMBB333.com. If you have any large videos you'd like to share that won't fit in the email, sometimes that happens, and I don't know why. Maybe it's your email carrier, maybe it's on this end, but we've solved that problem. You can click on this tab right here, and I'll show you that says have a large video. You just click on it like that. It opens up a Dropbox. You can drag and drop videos in there, big ones, small ones. You can put pictures in there. If you would, though, at the top of the photo or video, please include your first name, date, and location. That's all I ask, and I'll take it from there. And if you have something you'd like for me to analyze, you can send it there as well. And usually the Dropbox, there's no problem with videos. Sometimes the email, though, if a video is over a certain size, you know, with any email, it's hard to attach large files. But the Dropbox, it can handle it. All right, guys, well, listen, I'm going to hop off here. It is almost dinner time. Thanks for spending part of your day with me. I really do appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Have a super day. And as always, be safe out there.